Welcome to Fast Effect Double Speed Magic the Gathering. Here we have a Dragon Rage Channeler getting Swords to Plowshares. At the beginning of this match, we have Ted on Stoneblade versus Pyle on Blue-Red Delver. Ragavan comes down. Will anything be able to stick versus Stoneblade? Got all sorts of ways this game could go. The great thing about Legacy, generally Blue-Red Delver, I mean, they're going to need to stick some creatures and turn them sideways, to be fair. Prismatic Ending, taking out the Ragavan. Stoneblade, no shortage of answers. Swords, Prismatic Ending, Engineered Explosives. I mean, there's just so many cards that can potentially take care of business. Murktide Regent, one of the bigger threats. Well, here we have another 1-drop in Delver of Secrets. Also, the threats don't necessarily have to be handled with even Ragavan. It doesn't necessarily have to be handled per se, as Stoneblade could potentially get down a Batterskull, and that would really nullify the action of smaller 1-drop creatures. Murktide Regent does go over top of that potentially. We've got a Force of Will stopping the Stoneforge Mystic, which would have been able to bring Batterskull into the equation, or perhaps Cauldron Complete. Force of Will shutting that down. Good in hand, let those first few creatures go, and then actually stop Stoneblade's ability to commit to the board. Aggressive Iteration pushes forward the card advantage. You go down a card with Force of Will, up a card with Expressive Iteration, back to square one, and Delver just turns sideways. Another Stoneforge and another Force of Will. Only 2 left in the deck. I mean, this is starting to feel very, very bad for Stoneblade. They want to get something to stick. We've got a Wasteland taking out that Tundra. This is downright claustrophobic. Delver just chipping away, turn after turn, 3 in the air. The life total dissipates. That's going to do it. Scooping up. Probably a good tournament decision there from Ted, scooping. Now there's perhaps, I'm not sure how much life was really left, but in general, Stoneblade's going to want as much time as possible for games 2 and 3, as its victories can be a lot slower than Blue-Red Delver. Delver can get things done, not necessarily in a super small amount of turns, but those turns can be very compressed. I mean, attacking with Murktide Regent doesn't take a lot of time in terms of game actions. It's not like comboing off with a Tendrils of Agony or something. So the actual turns themselves can go very quickly. I mean, you can have matches, or games, I should say, of Blue-Red Delver finish in just a couple of minutes, where they get down a threat and just you blow up your opponent's land and they don't have anything meaningful to do and they're just passing the turn back. You could just absolutely run the table very quickly. As that was actually a pretty quick game there, probably about 5 minutes, with all counter spelling back and forth. Stoneblade should have access to a bunch of basics, though, so Wasteland isn't always going to be the blowout play that we saw there. That was really hobbling. Stoneblade very often has access to back to basics in the sideboard. Should be able to run off a basic land, stop Wasteland from being quite so impactful. We'll see if that option is available to Ted here. And Ted will have the play. Really not a lot of options for 1-drops. Talking about Brainstorm, Ponder. He does have a Ponder. Much as you can hope for. Your opponent plays a threat, in which case you have all sorts of 1-mana removal options. Here's our first threat of this game, Dragon Rage Channeler. Really is more of a threat due to the Surveil than it is for the damage. I mean, the damage is nice, and it will eventually become a finisher, but that Surveil just adds up. I'm not sure how many Surveils it would take to kind of be considered a card draw. In the strictest sense, a single Surveil can be the equivalent of drawing a card, in that, you know, it was a land on top and you did not need a land. putting that into the bin is like cycling that land. We've got a Stoneforge Mystic, but Daze gonna counter it. Force a will back. Oh, and a force. That has got to be backbreaking there. Got some surveil triggers resolving. The graveyard fills up, and Daze plus Force of Will actually stops the Stoneforge. A Wasteland takes out a Tundra, and we're kind of right back to where we were. Engineered Explosives perhaps will be able to stop this Dragon Rage Channeler from being the thing that actually wins the game. But she's got plenty of friends in the deck. Oh, and another EE. No lands. A pop it. Got a Murktide Regent as just a 5/5. One of the smaller ones that we've seen on the channel, but still absolutely massive for 2 mana. Explosives can take out the Dragon Rage Channeler, but this Murktide pretty much never going to be taken out. Wow, committing the Ragavan. Interesting. Very, very interesting. They're actually committing the Ragavan directly into the EE. Pyroblast takes out the Murktide region. Brainstorm. I can't really think of a reason to commit that Ragavan there. He's going to almost certainly pop the EE anyways to take out the Dragon Rage. Delver of Secrets comes down. This one is taken care of by the second Engineered Explosives. Ponder. Force of Will still in hand for Delver. Not in any major danger. Love the coloring of the volcanic islands. Lightning bolt to the face, and another lightning bolt to finish it. So within range, and then a couple of bolts closes the door as Blue-Red Delver does what it does versus Stoneblade.